Okay, guys, here back with you on Monday, the 15th of July here, and per our polling, you guys voted on link to Bitcoin here. Now, this is a difficult chart. And I should say, you know, one of my early mentors who was teaching me the ins and outs of Elliott Wave, you know, his opinion was that, you know, a good 35 to 40% of the time there is no clear Elliott count. Right, so his emphasis was always on the fib relationships over the Elliott count, and that still influences me to this day. And so this is a fairly good example of that. Yes, we can get an Elliott count on this, but it's lacking the kind of, you know, the ideal setup swing relationships. There are times when you just look at it and go, yeah, shit, man, why am I forcing a trade here? When you're doing, you know, mental gymnastics to try and get a count to fit. You know, that can be a bit of a, you know, market maybe telling you something. Again, it's not that we can't get a count on it. It's just you don't have any confidence in it. So the market needs to reveal a bit more here before we can get any sort of confidence or any high probability zone we might be able to work from. Now, that said, there are some things here that we can work with. You'll note the set of median lines here that I have on being defined by the first three pivots that we get. I should note here, this is an 8-hour on Binance. Well, that does seem to be framing the market and providing us well, at least a center line here. Now it's giving us some reasonable targets. So we can see our corner pocket, right? So this is just a straight set of median lines here. I do not, it looks like I might have a modifier here, but I don't. So we just miss here, but we get it here. And then, boy, we rip all the way to the 200%, but now we're back to the median line here. So I like this technically as we've just tagged it. But we're looking, right, so from the low here, this is the last, this is slightly lower than the pivots to the left of it, but essentially you'd call it a double bottom here. So we note here this little zone here. So we do get an A, B. It's got a little funky push here, but you know, per the way I'm counting it here, you actually needed that, because if we're going to count this, if this is going to be the 1, 2, this is well, if I zoom in here, it's just, if I get that, it's just like it's just a couple of sats lower here. So we get this kind of funky drive down here, and it actually, boy, that's a tough count. Boy, you'd have to finish it this way here. You can barely squeak it out here. You'd have to do it this way as a diagonal. So you'd have to go A, B, C, A, B, C, A, B, A, B, C, A, B, C. All right, so you're struggling to go, oh shit, man, that doesn't look terribly good. Now you'd look down, is there anything technical here from the start of the 1 through the pivot of the 3? Well, yeah, we get into the sell zone, but we don't make target here. So essentially this little double bottom stops us here. Now we get the fairly good rip up, but this is just so ugly here. So I just would caution against being overly aggressive with anything here until we get some more clarity here. Right now, best I can come up with on this count with my Elliott hat on is that we've gone 1, 2 on the largest degree. See what's happening here is you've got mixed signals. So we go 1, 2, and then I get a clear impulse into what at this point we'd have to call the next 1, 2. See, it's tempting to think, oh, 1, 2, because this actually is long enough. So you'd struggle here, think, oh, well, wait a second, let me get that over here. All right, so we're almost to the 1618. We just missed the median lines, 1, 2, 3. All right, but it just, so now, but then, right, so you wouldn't be looking for an impulse if it's going to trade as a diagonal. If you're going to go 1, 2, 3, now we've overlapped the 1, so that kind of blows that up. Because you wouldn't be looking for an impulse here. So now you're back to 1, 2, and then you get this mess here, which, you know, had potentials, but it's so choppy here, we've got to work it as a diagonal. So just in the interest of trying to clear things up here, you guys, I will tell you this often here, I'm going to take the median lines off here, but you'd certainly not want to lose track of that, as the framing here seems quite good, as we've just tagged the median line again here and now had a little bit of a reaction. So I'm going to take it off, but you'd want to have that. So again, if you were in thirds or quads, have it on somewhere so you don't lose track of it. So if we're 1, 2, and then I've got this impulse into a 1, with A, B, C to give me my 2 here. Well, it's anyone's guess here because of the start stop. So it looks like we're going deep retracement. Oh, are we going again deep retracement? And then we get the big rip. So it's tough here because you could count this a couple of different ways. I think this is the better count so that these swings are related. So you could think, let me open this up. Let's go to the 4 hour here. You could think A, B, C into a 1, A, B, C into a 2, but because the subdivision is here, I think you've got to go 1, 2, 3. It's long enough. So I think we're to the 272. So from the length of the 1 to the proposed 2, I get the 272 to the tick. Not uncommon in a diagonal. Now we go deep on the 4. Here's the 2618 of the proposed top up here. So now again, as I will often remind you guys, in a diagonal, we want to be looking for something technical here at the 4 relative to the start of the 1 through the pivot of the, at least as I have it in here, the proposed 3. So if I'm pulling from this little pivot down here, well, I come right to the 50. Now, so we get the overlap is deep here, but I've got an AB, and boy, it's a little crazy little last drive here. If I open that up, you'll see what I mean here. So we've got this push down, which, boy, you'd have to go A, B, C to get down. So the whole thing is just so choppy and just ugly. I don't know that this is where I'd be investing a lot of time, energy, and or resources into the next trade. So if it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and so look what we have to do here to get this to fit. So once we go into diagonal mode, we've got to get an ABC to finish up here. I can get, there's not much of a 4 there, but I can get, well, in this case, I can get an impulse into an A, a 3-wave into a B, and then it's I guess you can get some sort of it's just ugly here. So we essentially, is it a double top? We get slightly higher here. We can get the ABC in here. It's not great either way you count it. But if you want to just keep, so I guess a broader point here, I wouldn't be pursuing any new trades here until I get more clarity. So look here, if this is the 2, already it's a little bit suspect here because you're now, our best case here is that we're going into a diagonal into the 1, right? Trying to get that, and then we're trying to get the 3. But could just as easily be that this is a 3 and we're going to roll over again. So just as you might with any, right, to 50, I got a target down here. So very easy to see this coming down this way. Right now we're already deep, so if we're looking, so here would be the start of that 2. So if this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into a 1, I've got a completed leading expanding diagonal here. So you can see 3 is longer than 1, 5 longer than 3. So it works for just barely longer than 2. So it's there, but it ain't pretty. So from the 2, we'd be, let me get this off of here. We'd be looking for something here relative to, well, let's just draw it up. So from the 2 through the proposed pivot, well, we're here at the 50. I'm close enough there. Let's tighten it up a hair. Get that right there. Okay, let's pull back out. Now, yeah, it's there. You can call that. So this would be at the next degree. This is your 1 wave here. So ABC into a 2. Now if this rolls up here and we get a little diagonal to kick us out of here, I need a motive wave here. Now, so it could be ABC into the 1, but this is a 4 hour. Let's go down to the 30-minute. Does this look like it's done here? Does it look AB? Maybe. Maybe you can make this case. This is going to need to get some legs here. Deep 2. You'd have to, you'd have to go A, B, C. So you'd have to count it this way. Can we get it? So yeah, 1, 2. There's not much of a 4 there to give you that 5. So here I'm on a 30. It's straight down, right? There's not much subdivision here. So I think you'd actually, what you're looking for is this. So this looks like ABC, so coming down here. So this looks like you got to go, you have to do it this way. So if it's going to hold, I don't love this B, but it looks like you're going to have to do it this way. So 2, 3, 4. So from the start of the 1, if we're going to get this to play from through the pivot of the 3, already a little deep. Looks like we went down to tap the point of control here. All right, this would be last. Well, you wouldn't want to see this going much deeper. If we're going to hang on to the idea that we've got a diagonal going in, well, let's raise this up here. If we're going to get this to as a diagonal, this needs to be the low here. So we could, oh, can we get some median lines? Yeah, it looks like we can get this on here. So this already been realized. So let's get our, well, the 2 actually works here. So the corner pocket already realized, right? So, well, shit. Right, we got it right here, but you're back to tap it before rolling over. So if this is if we're gonna get another push here, now we've gone fairly far out. Here's the 200%. If we're going back up here, let's see if that what that would look like. We'd have to be going pretty high. I think that seems less likely here. So there is the ABC. I don't love this section here, so as I'm prone to do. I'm show you guys here. So I just want to wick this off here. I'm a little suspect of this. So if this starts to break down, I'm going to come back here and revisit because this is problematic here. There is very little subdivision here, but the depth of it, you have to finish here. So this likely your 3, but again, you could count this as with the 5 in here. It's neither one is great. So again, I'm back to why force a trade here? It's just not really there. Well, shit. I mean, you could buy something here. Yeah, you're in the location where you might anticipate just straight algo off the low. We've got it from our dominant to our dominant. We're in the 50 to the 618 zone. Yeah, there's a buy there. Sure. Why stop under the 618? Or pardon me, stop under the 65. Sure, that's tradable. Let's see. We could redraw here. I don't love it enough. It's not good enough for me to trade it, but I can post this up here for you guys. So, yeah, it's all right. Come here. I could work. I don't hate it, but it's not good enough, right? You got so many choices, so why go something that's medium? Now, of course, this has been one of the strongest alts that we've had all year. So I can understand the attraction to want to try and get in here. So we've got some alt playing with Bitcoin, but Bitcoin doing what it's doing here. So that's the trade that I think is there. So you've got a little single here that you could go after here on the long side with this as an algo target. If that completes, then we could just continue on here. So let's just use that as our target from the low. If we get this motive to complete as a diagonal, so then if I'm anxious to get into a trade here, this is what I would wait for. So if I can get this to complete and let me know with some degree of confidence, okay, there's my diagonal into a 1, so I can put the trade together here now and go, okay, I can see where I am. I've got to propose 2, 3, 4, and 5. We've got to put them up here somewhere. Let's go to minuet and we'll go to green here. So this maybe, right, starts to look a little bit better because now I get more confidence in this pivot. So if I'm going to come down, so the next trade that is I see it here would be I'd wait for this, right, rather than try and pick the turn here, even though, yeah, I know it's right in golden zone. Well, oh, pardon me, it would be right here. So we're not quite to golden zone. So I'd let that go myself, right, rather than try and pick this move here, and I'd wait for this one. Right? It's just higher probability here because I know I've got a completed motive in this case to set me up for the 2. I can be tight on the stop here, so the risk reward is good. If I'm going to get a true third, I'm looking up here for my third, 4, 5. So again, this would be at the largest degree here. We'd be into the, well, not the largest, pardon me, but at 1 degree higher here, we'd be in the 2, going 1, 2 of the proposed 3 at that degree. So it's just so many mixed signals here. So to put that all together, here would be the 1. Let's take that up to a higher degree. Let's go. There we go. 1, 2. 1, 2, we need 3, 4, 5. Now, that starts to play. Now you're feeling better about the whole mess off the low. So coming back to, let's go back. Well, I think we can do it in 4. So we come back here to this. now we get this starting to go, this 1, 2, if I get my 1, 2 here, so note here, this would just be at the next degree, this would be 1 going in, 2, 3, 4, 5 is what you're after here. It's there. You can pull this up on your chart and go, oh, man, when they're that ugly. So it's not that I'm saying don't trade it. I'm just saying it's not ripe, right? It's just not. It's not good enough yet. Give it some time. When this sets up here, then this is the trade, right? So what you want this one, right, to lead you into the big one, right? This is the one you're waiting for. That one. Don't feel like you need to get in the market or be in the market. Oh, link to Bitcoin is starting to push a little bit. You don't need to race into the market. Now you could, as I said, maybe you dabble with something of small size here, trying to get that turn, but no reason to go to any size just yet. Not with a count this ugly. That's my suggestion anyway. All right, guys, there you go. Talk to you in a bit.